Welcome to Hayat Insights. Friends, this is about communication skills. In the last two videos, we have talked about the communication skills, the problems of poor communication skills, unemployment reasons, and in the subsequent video, we talked about actually what is communication skills. Today, we'll talk more about the barriers to communication skills. What exactly hampers good communication? Now, questions that filter incoming message. Now, in fact, it's a very interesting fact that the biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. Rather, we listen to reply. So, I think this is the most, chronic problem, or you can say problem across the, countries or places everywhere in the organizations, that people really want to reply first. So they do not understand what is being said, rather they want to reply. They listen to reply. Now, various questions that filter the incoming messages. Like, what does this really mean? Because most of the time we are always in a suspicion mode, particularly with the strangers, that how do they react to your communication. So whatever is being said, you ask yourself, what does this really mean? Can I trust him? Or why is he or she saying or doing this in a particular manner? So these are always a process going on within the individual. Now, the major barriers to communication is said to be four, or you can say five barriers. That is, number one is semantic difficulties. Then, of course, psychological differences, poor listening, then the unskilled organization in a communication process. So, in case of barriers, it is said that the physical barrier is one, cultural one, organizational, interpersonal, or linguistic. That is said to be the semantic. Now, every culture, every language, every place, environment has got a very different dynamics. So, when an individual moves from one place to other one, or from one culture to the other one, and from one language environment to another one, then definitely you have the barriers. Apart from that, we have our own mother tongue. Then you switch on to some other language, or most of the time people learn more than one or two languages. So you cannot really master, or you cannot really be fulfilled, or you can say complete in other languages. So as a result, there are always the pronunciation, semantic or linguistic problems are there. So these are the five major barriers are there: semantic, cultural, psychological differences, then of course poor listening, and the unskilled organization as far as the communication process is concerned. Next is hearing versus listening. Now it is said hearing is a physical process, it's very natural, and passive, that is you like it or you dislike it, but hearing goes on, that is it's a passive process, it's a natural one, because there are always noise of the traffic, noise of some other people, noise of the environment, noise of breeze, or whatever it is. So it is a passive process that you have to bear with that. But whereas listening is said to be physical as well as a mental process, it's very active, learned process, and it is said to be a skill. So listening is not easy, it is very hard. You must choose to participate in the process of listening, without which you cannot really concentrate, or you cannot really understand the things. So as somebody has said, that listen with your eyes as well as your ears, without which you cannot really understand the situation or the dialogue. So let us talk more about active listening. Now it is said that to get inside the head of the speaker, that is to understand the communication from the speaker's point of view, and making sense what is heard requires, you can say again, you can say paying attention, or maybe interpreting the whole process. So when you get inside the head of the person, that is the speaker, so you look from the other person's view. So in a way you can say, in other terms you can call it as maybe empathy also. That is, you are looking from the other person's side. But here in case of listening, in case of communication, it is more of a concentration. Get inside the head of the speaker to understand the communication from the speaker's point of view, what the speaker wants you to actually do. Now, what you have in case of effective listeners or listening. So, what do the effective listeners do or active listeners do? So, first of all, the foremost thing is make your eye contact proper. Unless until you have a proper eye contact, you cannot really concentrate. Then you have to list uninterrupted time for meetings. List your schedule in such a way, or make your schedule in such a way that the meetings have to be uninterrupted. And the other one is like to get more and more effective in case of listening. If you are listening, then definitely you have got more of doubts. When you have doubts, then you can ask questions, ask clarifying questions. So in a way, you need to genuinely seek information, or in a way simplify the speaker's intentions as well. If you can't do that again, so it means that it's not a dialogue. So you need to be more, in a way, conversing with the other person, and it can only happen when you are seeking the information, genuinely seeking the information. Avoid being emotional or attacking others. I think this is something which comes with your maturity. I mean, it's not easy, because most of the time people get emotional and start attacking the speaker, or you can say immediately they want to respond, immediately they you can say counter the argument. So that's where I think one needs to be silent, or just don't talk to fill pauses or respond to statements in a say point and then counterpoint fashion. If you do that, it becomes more of an altercation, or you can say it becomes more of an argument. Then again, that may lead to some other you can say problem, or it may not be a dialogue. So unless until you give a patient hearing, patient listening, you cannot really achieve the communication process, or you cannot really get the message, proper message. So avoid making distracting gestures. So I think again this is a thing where again it comes with your maturity, that how do you really, I mean, avoid the gestures so that the other person doesn't get irritated. So all this I think helps in your meetings as far as sales is concerned, or any other meeting, interview, or most of the time in the organizations. I mean, having meeting in your office, wherever it is, maybe in the formal, informal gatherings, every place. To be a good listener, to be a good speaker, you need to first of all become a good listener as well. Only then you can be valued more. So friends, this was more about the active listening and major barriers to communication. Now, how do you overcome this? It comes with practice. It is not, you cannot really achieve good communication overnight. So it takes long time to get good communication skills. So you need lots of practice. So in the next video, we'll talk about the verbal communication, and after that we are going to talk about the non-verbal communication. Thank you.